Hey guys, it's Pastor Brian. Welcome to our next update of Mossolonian Musings, where we're keeping you informed about everything going on in the church that you need to know. And so this week I've got Pastor Gary, wave him out. I got Pastor Brian Lloyd, and I got Cheryl Bush with Family Ministry, who I believe is at Sam's right now, saving money and stocking up on TP. Hey, let's jump right in. Well, we just finished our Easter services, and it was a phenomenal time. We had over 2,600 views of our different service platforms. 870 of those were on YouTube. So I'm assuming a lot of you guys are beginning to figure out how to get your smart TV working, or you have contacted someone under the age of 20 to come over and make it work for you. One of those. But however you get it working, I'm happy you got it working. We had about 836 people who joined us through the website or through the church app, because the app is
Where
Where
it's
it's at.
And then we had about 803 folks who joined us through one of the Facebook services. One interesting thing we're seeing is that the vast majority of folks are actually joining us at 9 a.m. In fact, by a factor of 2 to 1, folks are watching at 9 o'clock versus the 11 o'clock. And so that's kind of amazing. I think we're so antsy. We've been boxed in so long. We're like, man, I finally found something to get out of bed for. So I don't know if that's what's happening, but it is kind of interesting. Most of you are joining us at that time, and we're getting lots of chatter when they join us on the Facebook interface. Getting a lot of folks who are giving comments. I think over 500 comments just in that one service time slot. And so glad to hear from you guys. Keep it up. Continue to share that, the services, because that is a huge, huge influence. In fact, we're seeing folks who are literally joining our services, not just from across the Delmarva and the Eastern Shore region, but we're actually seeing folks all over America, and now folks that are joining us even all over the world. I think we had one guy from Australia. Is that right? Some guy from Australia joined us this week.
Yeah, and Guatemala.
So we're getting all kinds of folks who are joining in and participating in our services. So truly, God's using this platform to expand our influence all over the world. And folks are giving their lives to Christ. We had people who made decisions through our Easter services and filled out our online Connect card. So please be sure that you take advantage of the online Connect card every time you view a service. Let us know how you're doing, how we can pray for you, and steps that you're taking in your specific area of growth. Speaking of growth, we're offering first and now second base online. So first base has been online for a little while, being able to get that through the Oak Ridge website. But now Pastor Brian Lloyd's been going in the studio and giving us the modules for second base. How's that going?
Oh, it's going really good. And I've got a lot of good feedback. Many people have been joining in to check it out. And, we're just going over the 2 habits that'll help you grow in your spiritual maturity. And I can't think of a better time to be able to take advantage of that right now. So we're excited to be able to offer that.
Super cool. And I'm going to be building on that this Sunday when we introduce our new series. So you can reach the links that you need for both of those by going to the website, go to Grow Track, and it'll point you to links both for the online LMS learning management system for the first base class, but also link to the YouTube playlist for the second base as Pastor Brian delivers a new module each week. So be looking for that. And then stimulus money. I wish I could run a radio show. I could play little soundtracks and stuff. I would so do that. But I'm a Pink Floyd guy, so I'd probably play that one. I probably wouldn't play all the new stuff. But stimulus. I woke up this morning and actually saw that the federal government had done a deposit into my account. And it made me think, folks have asked already, what are your thoughts about what we should be doing with that? And I've given you a couple of thoughts. I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to do and then give you some other food for thought. Obviously, the very first thing is I'm going to tithe, because that's income. And the Bible says we give 10% back to God on all income that comes into us. So I would tithe immediately on that. The second is I'm going to do an offering. That's a special above and beyond to the Give One Day, and that will be divided up into those categories. Gary's going to talk about that in just a moment, how that's divided. And then if you have not participated in Build the Dream. And maybe you said, I went through the Build a Dream, or I heard about that, but I just did not have the cash. Guess what? God just gave you some money you didn't know you were going to have. And so you might want to pray over a gift to Build the Dream, because let me tell you, when this pandemic ends, we are building that building. That process for permits is already moving through the city, and we should start moving some dirt out on that pile right next to us. That should start in May. And so we want you to be a part of that. Don't just watch the dream, build the dream. That means you need to be a part of that. And so begin praying about that. We had somebody sent me a Facebook message, an email this morning asking about, what were my thoughts on what to do with this money and how should I use this? And I would say that, I tell you what, that shows a huge sign of maturity when somebody says, hey, I'm getting some money I didn't know I was going to get, but I want to ask God first. So that's all I would tell you. Ask God first. So begin praying about how God might want you to use that. And then Cheryl's going to tell us a little bit about some family ministry. We've been giving you lots of family ministry stuff to do. Tell us a little bit of what we need to know today, Cheryl.
So what we're doing in family ministry is we're trying to get a schedule for you guys so you know exactly when for the age group that you have. So our preschool kids, we're going to 10 a.m. Anything that's preschool, we're going to post at 10 a.m. And we've got a new one starting this week, which is Reading with Miss Lisa. Yeah. And we've also got a new one in our elementary. Our elementary stuff will come out at 2 p.m. every day. And on Wednesdays, we're going to have Workout Wednesday with Mr. John. And on Fridays, we will have our family challenges that we're going to put out for the weekends.
I love the stuff that the family ministry volunteers are doing. Workout Wednesday sounds challenging. He's going to pump you up, pump you up. So I'm excited about what these guys are doing. I love seeing your volunteers, Cheryl, and what they're doing to continue to pour in to our kids here. It makes such a difference. Now, remember, parents, just because this is when the things are being made available for you doesn't mean that necessarily you have to join at that time. Is that right, Cheryl?
Right.
So what should they do? Let's say they're working double time on this thing. How would they take advantage of this?
Well, number one, if you've got a babysitter, let your babysitter know. And if not, hey, let John work out your kids while you're fixing dinner after work, or Miss Lisa can read to them while you're trying to clean up the kitchen table or something. The reason why we're trying to do so much is to help you guys have just a few extra spare moments that you can step away and do your normal routine.
So just a reminder, guys, everything that we're making available for you doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it all.
No.
We're giving you a whole bunch of resources because different resources will actually apply to different people in our church. And then some of these you might say, well, that's not, I don't have any preschoolers, or I don't have any kids, that's okay. You don't have to feel like you have to do everything, but we do want to provide you great resources so that you have at your disposal ways that you can continue to grow your faith while we're still in this quarantine time. Now, Give One Day is something we promoted just recently. Pastor Gary, we asked our folks to give, and that 100% of these monies would be going outside towards corona relief. And we said to be sure that you designate that as the peace offering, and that's the category you would do, like if you do on PushPay or through the app. Give One Day is just the title of the emphasis instead of Peace One Day. But when they give to that effort, they're going to make sure they designate peace offering. Tell us a little bit about these categories that we're going to be giving to. Tell us about this.
Yeah. So when you give to Give One Day and you've followed that appropriate process and it's landed in that missions peace offering drop down, well, then what happens to it? Well, I got to have a meeting with the executive team, and Mark Reynolds was there, and they explained to me how percentages work. And I was like, that's mind blowing. So what you can be assured is that we have allocated a percentage of each of these. So no matter how much you give, certain of these organizations are going to get a percentage of it, and we're going to take care of them in an ongoing way. Some of those people that we're talking about is like Halo. Man, we love Halo, right? They've been with us since forever, and they do such a vital work in our community. And we know that we can do things like give them help them with food and send volunteers over there. But just like a lot of nonprofit organizations, they just don't have the money coming in to run. Their bargain center is closed. And believe it or not, 70% of their income that allowed them to keep their doors open came through that bargain center. So they're missing 70% of what it takes just for them to be able to exist. And so we've set a particular percentage to say out of everything that's given, automatically a percentage of that's going to Halo. But then we had other people that were like, we don't want to leave these guys out. And so we said, we're going to give a one-time offering, and we're going to put a certain clump of money together, and we're going to take care of frontline workers. And I called, and that's at PRMC, those who are the ones who are getting the job done and combating this virus head on. And I was desperately trying to figure out a way that we could be a part of serving those people and be a part of that solution. And I called them, and they were like, we don't want your people here, okay? Because if they come here, they're going to make us sick, or we're going to make them sick. And I know you want to bring lunch, but your lunch is contaminated, and we cannot risk that. So I said, look, how can we do that? And they said, here's what you do. You send money, and we buy the lunch for our frontline workers. I said, done deal. So we gave a portion to them. We've had an ongoing partnership with Wycomico County Public Schools. We have so many church members who work there and are just a vital part of the life of the school system. And we are so blessed that we get to have an inside look at the workings of what's happening in the school system, and we get to be a part of that. So we just went and said, how could we be the biggest servant we could be to you? And one of the things that they said was, turn your parking lot into a Wi-Fi hotspot so that our students who can't get internet anywhere else could go sit in their car in your parking lot and accomplish their schoolwork. And so it took a little bit of funds to get the technology we needed to be able to broadcast in a reliable way. But that's being taken care of. And if I understand correctly, it's ready to go. It's almost all set and ready to go. And so we put some money towards getting that technology. That's a one-time expense, and we're ready to do that for the rest of this thing if we need to. And then we have this one line, which is kind of where my heart is mostly. We're calling it food assistance or people care. And we're just saying, look, we know there's people in our church. We know there's people connected with our church. We know there's people connected with people in our church who are hurting like they've never hurt before. And there's nobody to take care of them except for us. We're the only ones that can reach out because they aren't connected with the Halo. They're not in these other organizations. There's people who, other organizations, they're not allowed to take in new folks. So if your house burns down in the next 2 months, you got nowhere to go. You can live in a motel room only for so long, right? And so as we become aware of these people in our church who are in a hard time, have been in a hard time, or suddenly are, this food assistance, or what I like to call people assistance, these funds go there to help us be able to meet those needs in real ways to help people get through in a time when there's just no other options for them. And so we want to see this fund stay as healthy as it can possibly be, because we're giving it out there just as fast as we possibly can as we see things. We got boxes of food from the food bank sitting out there. We were able to use this fund to go buy some additional stuff to fill those meals out. So we're able to give pretty much Thanksgiving dinners away. It's kind of cool. We have members who are checking in with families and delivering pizzas to them, believe it or not, because who wouldn't want a pizza, right? And so we're able to help with that. And so lots of good stuff that we're able to do because you chose to give to this Give One Day Fund. And we're working through partners, but we're also working personally. And so I'm excited about it.
So giving money is one way that we can make a tangible difference, but there are also some ways that we can actually step up and serve. And so talk to us about some of these opportunities for service that is coming down the pipe. Yeah.
So this week, it's like God has opened the floodgates and said, now you all are going to go. You guys are going to do this thing now. And our church never lets me down. I never ceased to be impressed at how willing you guys are to say, here I am, send me, I'm the guy, let me do this. And so starting this week, we are actually starting tomorrow. We have folks who are partnering with Salvation Army to deliver meals to over 110 shut-in elderly people in one community. And then I'm about to send another email out to say, and there's 2 more communities, so I need a couple more people to go tomorrow as well. And so that's all lined up and ready to go. Stone Grove, you guys know we've had an ongoing partnership with them. Well, Mount Air, who's helping us do the chicken sale on Saturday, has said, well, we'll bring a truckload and we'll just give a truckload to Stone Grove if you'll put it out there. So our Stone Grove team is distributing that on Friday. So that's Thursday we're giving out food, and Friday we're giving out food. And now on Saturday is the big one. We're doing a huge chicken sale usually Mount Air contacts churches and organizations and says, we'd like to help you be able to sell chicken for a really cheap price, and then you can do it as a fundraiser. And we said, we don't need to raise funds. Let's whatever we would have made it as a fundraiser, put that back into the chicken and make the chicken price even smaller. And so they said, okay, we can bring it down to $1 a pound. And so 10-pound bags of chicken breasts or chicken tenders for $1 a pound. I am expecting to see 1,000 cars roll through our parking lot Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We are loaded for bear as far as getting prepped to be able to handle the flow of people coming in there. And I have 2 teams worth of people there to help us pull that off. So everything is lined up for this week, but there are going to be opportunities like this ongoing where we're going to need even more. And so what I want to do is I want to direct you guys, if I can take a moment to do a shameless ad, on the website. If you go to orbc.net and look at the tab that says Get and Give Help, and you tap that, you'll be able to see how you can be a part of the solution, and you can find the different forms for how you can sign up to be notified when these different opportunities come up, so you might choose to be a part of them. So that's what I want to encourage you guys to do. Head over to the website and join me in these different initiatives.
Okay, so is this so they would go to the website, this is the front page, and then just go to how to get and receive help, is that right?
Yeah, click that one.
Okay.
And then you're going to go down and scroll down. You pass the message of hope. It's always good to listen to PB one more time, but you want to scroll past them this time.
Let's all stop and just pay homage for just a moment. Okay.
Just a second. Yeah. And then where it says give help.
Okay.
I want to give help. You click there. And now you're going to see a bunch of different boxes about things you can do. You could start sewing masks on your own. You could post some encouraging videos or messages to our friends at the John B. Parsons. But if you see that help box and distribute and deliver food, if you click there, that's going to take you to a form. It'll take you to a page to describe a little bit more about it. And then there's a form. If you click here, you can fill that form out. And then I'll know that you're one of the ones who I need to talk with whenever opportunities come up to be a part of this thing. So that's what you want to do.
So also, I know Governor Hogan, just before we got on this call, is setting new mandated executive order to enforce the mask to be worn when you go out shopping and when you're in a shopping store or a pharmacy or whatever, in any of your retail, outlets where you're buying stuff, that they want to make sure everyone is enforced to do that. So there's a quick handy link. You could figure out how to do that, how to sew that mask for yourself or for your family, and that would be very helpful. So tons of ways that people can participate in serving and giving. Let me let you know about a couple other things. We've been running the local loop. Brian Lloyd has been instrumental in lining up some phenomenal guests. Talk to us about what we've released a couple, but you've got a few more in the pocket. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, as you know, if you've seen it, if you haven't, the local loop was just something that we decided to do to try to engage with local leaders and business owners on how they're leading and navigating through COVID-19, but also to keep you guys in the loop of what you need to know and what's going on in our community. And it's been really great. We had Jake Day on episode 1. We had Celeste Savage from Halo, episode 2. Today, we have Dr. Hanlon from Wacomico County Board of Ed. And then Friday, we have Sheriff Mike Lewis. And then we've got some lined up for next week that I'm not going to tell you about because you need to just join in and see, but they're going to be good. And again, it's been really nice just to continue to build bridges and talk to our local leaders and see how they're doing, what we can do to help, and again, keep you guys informed. Dr. Hanlon's today at 5 is really good. You don't want to miss that.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that because she answers the question, what about year-round school? Ooh, that's an interesting one. And then we also have next, I think it's Friday, we got a first ever only announcement that you can't hear anywhere else. So you want to tune in on Friday to hear that one. That's going to be good. So it's been a wonderful time chatting with these community leaders and just listening to their perspective. And then we're continuing our online prayer gathering. That is growing. Folks are really beginning to pass it along. Prayer is such a very, very powerful need right now in our community. It's always a powerful need, but I'm so proud of our prayer team. Most of you don't even know that these guys, our prayer team has been serving in the background for years and years and years to pray during every one of our services and they pray over all of our prayer requests and work in conjunction with our venue pastors, continue to pray over people. So what a super duper ministry. Thank you, Jim Kit, for leading that. Jill Dennis is the actual leader over that, but they've just been phenomenal in ministering to folks online in this powerful way. So thanks for what they're doing. Tune in on Thursdays at 5 p.m. And then we're ramping back up some Devos. Talk to me, Lloyd.
Yeah, we're excited. So many people gave us such great feedback, and I just think it was a God thing. When we planned that first round with Pay It Forward, we had no idea COVID-19 was coming, and this just really helped us stay connected together. But even people outside of Oak Ridge have told me how much they've enjoyed it. And so this coming Monday, we're starting a new 30-day Devo through the book of Philippians, and with our church members and a couple new people that are going to be joining in. So just want to constantly find ways to not only stay connected with you, but give you resources to just help you grow closer and closer to Jesus during this time. And so it's going to be good. I'm excited about this book of Philippians. It's the book of joy. And, Paul wrote that book when he was locked down. So I think we got something in prison. He was locked down. And so I think we've got some commonality there with him that we can relate to. And yet he found out how to be joyful even in that time. So I think it's just going to be so appropriate for us right now.
Hey, can I jump in there real quick? Because he just talked about Philippians, and I just got off the phone with our Macedonia partners, where we go and visit Philippi and see where Paul wrote that book from. And I want to encourage you guys, Pastor Sashaw from the city of Kumanovo there in Macedonia, his city is the epicenter of the COVID-19 outbreak for the country. So we need to pray especially hard for Pastor Sashaw and his church there in Macedonia, because his city of Kumanov is the epicenter, the place where they're getting hardest hit.
Wow. That's really good to know. And I was not aware of that. So huge issue of prayer. But thank you, Brian Lloyd, for putting together these online devotionals through the last Pay It Forward series and keeping that going. That's something that you birthed that I think was very helpful. Speaking of birth and stuff that's very helpful to us.
I can't with you.
Hey, Zoe Lloyd actually has just accepted a position with Oak Ridge as a graphics media coordinator. She's been doing tons of work for us, while she was kind of passing through on her way to cosmetology heaven. But we kind of talked her in. Well, actually, we just pleaded and cried and said, please. And so she's going to be working with us regular full-time as a graphics media coordinator and continuing the great job she's been doing on videos and graphics and working with Tim Dennis on that tech team for all that stuff. So thank you and congratulations, Zoe. I didn't know, does she have the umlaut thing on the O, or is she just a plain American O?
No, and she constantly reminds Heather and I that we messed up on that and that people just call her Zoe because we don't have that on there.
Okay, well, hopefully she'll never watch this.
She loves you. She knows you. It's all good.
That was my mistake. Okay. Now, don't talk to Stacy because her Zoe, that's a very persnickety kind of thing.
Yes.
If you don't do that, you didn't do it right. All right. Then finally, the last thing you need to know is the series coming up, Overwhelmed, starts this Sunday. And normally this would be a season where we start gathering folks into groups. And obviously we can't really do a big connection event. But here's what we are going to do. We're going to give folks the opportunity to connect into an e-group. And so this Sunday we'll be saying, hey, are you not in a group, but you'd like to be connected into a group, in a virtual group? And so we're going to give folks an opportunity to sign up on the Connect card and be a part of a virtual e-group for this series, Overwhelmed. And I think God will really use that as a great way to continue to build community even while we're on lockdown. So guys, thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining me, helping me to get the message out to our folks today. And we look forward to seeing everybody this Sunday. God bless you guys.
God bless you.
We'll see you next time. Bye.